So the UK government have started banning websites in the UK. And in this video, there's a lot to get through, but one of the most insane things is that Ofcom admits it. So let's just dive right into it. Since the Online Safety Act came into effect, if websites around the world don't comply with the Online Safety Act, there is a big chance and a huge risk that they'll get banned in the UK. And Ofcom and the UK government have given a very short grace period to these websites to implement age verification. And if they don't implement age verification within 60 days of the Online Safety Act coming into effect, those websites will be geo-blocked from the UK. Essentially, internet service providers will block access to those websites, and those websites will no longer be accessible in the UK. And this, of course, has raised some big issues in the United States, with many companies going up against Ofcom saying it's absolutely insane that they're expected to comply with UK regulations when they're not based in the UK. This has been more prevalent with forums such as 4chan and social media platforms such as X. Now, recently, Ofcom actually responded to a couple of these social media platforms with a statement. And this statement is absolutely absurd. But very quickly, if you don't want to lose access to various websites that are geo-blocked from the UK, you can use things such as VPNs. Now, I've partnered with Private Internet Access, so if you are looking for a VPN to protect your privacy online, make sure you check out Private Internet Access at the link down below. They don't keep logs and it's really affordable, and with my link down below, you get 4 months free and 86% off. Now let's go into Ofcom's statement. Ofcom acknowledges the concerns that select content may be censored in the US due to our efforts to prevent sensitive content from being accessible to children. We strive to regulate the industry to a fair standard across the board, and our focus is to ensure we enact on the concerns related to the Online Safety Act in the best interest of the British public. So there we have it. Ofcom have admitted that the Online Safety Act censors content. The crazy thing is they're willing to discuss and have conversations with companies in the US about how their content's censored. But in the UK, Ofcom have gone the full route of denying that they're censoring content in the UK. So how is it that it censors content in the US, but somehow doesn't censor content in the UK? It's because they're lying. And it's even further amplified by the Online Safety Act's own terms and conditions for not complying. If you don't comply with the Online Safety Act and you run a website or business overseas, you will be geo-blocked from the UK. Your website will not be visible to UK audiences. Yet, Ofcom are still taking the narrative to the British public that they're not censoring any content, whilst they're telling American companies that they acknowledge that they are. I don't understand how they can write this response and in the same 24-hour period issue a statement to the BBC in the UK saying that they're not censoring content. It can't be they are and they aren't at the same time. They just are. Now, back in 2014, 1 in 5 websites weren't accessible in the UK. Now, if we fast forward to 2025, 2 in 5 websites are censored in the UK. Now, to be clear, some of these websites are websites that are censored in pretty much every single country because it's just straight up inappropriate content, so that's fully understandable. But that shift in percentage from 20% to 40% is a clear indication of where the internet's going. There isn't more inappropriate content going up online in relation to other content, it's just that web filters and safety has been taken way more seriously for internet users, to the point where it's become an overreach. Things like the Online Safety Act are a prime example, where content is being restricted from people where it isn't already necessarily needed. A good example of this is many different news articles. If you look at Google Analytics and Google Trends, you'll see that many different news stories, for example, the conflict that's currently happening between Israel and Gaza, the conflict that's happening between Russia and Ukraine, pretty much all news about that is ran through an algorithm and filtered by the British government. And you may be thinking, well, maybe some of these articles have, images that maybe wouldn't be appropriate for children to see. And that was my initial thought when people were telling me that they couldn't access certain web pages on BBC News, but it's not the case. Actual news stories are being removed from search results, and even going back to a month ago when I covered this on the channel, we searched for 2 news stories, both logged into a Google account and then logged out on a fresh device, and many of the news stories relating to what's happening in the world at the moment were removed from those search results. Now, this just sounds like I'm a guy on the internet complaining about not being able to goon, and I can understand to the less initiated how that might be the case, but the government don't just introduce a tyrannical leadership overnight. And in the past month, we've seen 3 new laws, one of which being the Online Safety Act, where our freedoms are getting taken away from us and we're being sold this narrative how it's for the protection of children, it's for the protection of women, it's for the protection of ourselves, like we can't make our own decisions about what we consume on the internet. It's even got to the point where regardless what your opinions of Trump are, even he's raised an eyebrow at what we're doing in the UK. And to be fair, the amount of issues that America's got at the moment, for them to have any comment on what we're doing in the UK just shows how bad it's really getting. So in the next 3 weeks, we're going to start seeing our favorite websites being pulled from the internet and not accessible anymore. Now, I do know that there's a few people putting together a list of the ones that they know are banned so far, or the ones that are going to be banned by the end of the month. As soon as I get a copy of that full list, I'll do a full video about it, and we'll see what those websites look like from the UK. Now, to be clear, if websites are banned in the UK, you can use VPNs to get around it. I'm not recommending you do it, of course, because I'm not allowed to do that, because that's a criminal offense. So make sure you check out private internet access at the link down below. And if you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to like and subscribe. One last little thing I want to mention. A few of you mentioned that some of my videos don't have the hype feature underneath them. I did actually talk to YouTube about this. They said that I didn't meet the requirements of having between 500 to 500,000 subscribers. Obviously, I do meet those requirements, and they keep closing the chat every time I ask them about it. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not going to say that's the YouTube trying to censor me. I really don't know. But yeah, I've lost that hype feature. So if you do want to subscribe, it does mean a lot to the channel. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.